Hey everybody, welcome back to Backlog Banter. I'm your boy Abram, joined as usual by Tucker Hazel, and we are here today to talk about the games we are excited about for the rest of 2021. But before we do, if you want to tell us what games you're excited about, be sure to join our Discord link as usual, top of the description while you're down there. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. God damn, I'm getting good at that, Tucker. I'm getting
You are,
fucking good
yeah.
at that plug.
You're getting snappy at it. You've got your transition to it down. It's high quality stuff, and also high quality games are coming out this year. There's my transition, and we are going to be talking about what it is that we want to be playing for the rest of 2021. Because holy goddamn shit! Pardon my Portuguese, but there's a lot of games coming out this second half of the
Yes.
year after a relatively light first half of the year. Actually, a really light first half of the year. We are being inundated. That's a fucking silver dollar word right
That is a
there.
silver dollar word.
And we're being inundated with games from fucking every direction. And I'm very excited to be checking out a lot of stuff that on the whole seems like really fresh, really interesting. There's not a lot of remakes and parts, although there are a few. This seems like a lot of new stuff that I'm very excited for.
Sure. Now, Tucker, I have mine broken down by month in order so we can kind of move through the calendar year. But before we
Okay.
do, I have three games that I am very excited about that don't have release dates.
Oh, okay. I avoided those from
Yeah.
my list.
Well, Tucker, here's the reason I didn't. I'm gonna throw them out. And then I'm gonna give you a percentage chance that they get delayed
If
out of
they
the year.
release, okay,
Yes.
got you, got you,
Okay.
got you.
So I
Breath of the
would
Wild
say,
2.
I would say, and this is bizarre considering how excited I am for the game, but I'm moving in order of how excited I am for them. So of these three games out of date, Tunic is up first. Tunic, for those who aren't familiar,
Okay.
new game from Finji, allegedly coming out in 2021. Effectively, it's a hybrid of 2D and 3D Zelda where you play as little fox. Beautiful. I played it at PAX. I played the ID at Xbox demo last
Yep.
week. Super excited. I think it's got a 70% chance of being delayed out of the year.
Wow, that's pretty high, especially considering. Well, okay, they didn't push it at their E3, but they did have a demo for it that released
Sure.
alongside that. So I guess it's possible, especially considering it's a small team.
Yeah, it feels to me like a sort of a Silk Song situation where funding is good. They're a really talented team. They're gonna take their time, make sure everything is right, you know.
Hmm.
So especially because Finji has other games releasing, they just released Chicory, which I heard is really good. I actually want to play. I think that they'll probably just hold it off. But still, I think there's that outside chance that they just are like, hey, the game's releasing in a month or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
Next, Tucker, is Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, which I
Of course
give
there is.
yes, which I give an 85% chance of being delayed
Good googly moogly.
because it was very conspicuous that it skipped E3 entirely.
Very true.
The outside chance is that we see it at Gamescom opening night live, which is actually the last time we saw it
Yep. That
prior
was
to
about to
its
say.
delay. Um, but even then, I think that this is a pretty important game for Traveler's Tales. So I think it'd be kind of weird if we're like, hey, it's beginning of August. The game is going to come out in 6 weeks
Yep.
or so.
Hmm.
The X factor, of course, is that WB does not have much other than Back for Blood this year. So I would imagine they kind of want to get that game going. But I'm saying most likely like a February or March next year release date.
Sure. Yeah.
And then the last one, the big fucker, which is my second most anticipated game for the entire year,
Halo Infinite
Halo Infinite, no release
delayed
date.
out of 2021.
I think the
Yep.
game has I think the game has a 35% chance of being delayed.
No, and I think I'm on that side as well. It was honestly disappointing to me that we didn't see any sort of even release window at this thing, especially
Holiday.
considering. Yeah, is that what they said?
They said holiday.
Okay. So yeah, but the lack of specificity is pretty damning, all things considered.
Valentine's
And
Day is a
also,
holiday, is what I'll say. They didn't
there
specify
are
which
yeah, there's
holiday.
you're right. There are holidays in most months, so
Yes.
all right. Well, yeah, no, I mean, all those games are ones that I'm at least willing to give a try.
Yeah,
The one I'm least excited in is like a Star Wars.
sure.
But the other two are ones I'm genuinely excited to at least see how they turn out. And I didn't put Halo on mine because I've yet to fully immerse myself as you have in the Halo
Yeah.
universe. But it is likely that once I play more of those games, I become more interested and excited for Halo Infinite. So that it will we'll check that down as will be on my list in the future, but
Sure.
isn't at the moment.
Yeah, my only thing I would add to Halo Infinite is, of course, I'm super excited. And when that game gets closer, I'll do some more videos and have you on. Hopefully, you'll play a couple more Halo games, but then we can really get into it. But I just think it's important for Microsoft to get the game out this holiday, and I think they've recognized that.
Yes,
Missing 2020 was arguably
not great.
bigger, but
Yeah,
I don't think you can keep kicking this game. The one thing is we know that the single player and multiplayer are effectively separate. I think
true.
I think worst comes to worst, one launches without the other.
True, double true.
I also honestly don't know in which order that would happen. So we'll
Mhm.
see. I'm hoping both launch maybe opposite Forza in a couple weeks later in November, but who knows?
Okay. Well, I have my list semi-organized by release
Okay.
date. I don't know the specifics of when things release. Apparently, you've got the fucking greatest memory known to man, and you remember every month and every release date of all the games you want to play for the rest of the year, which I don't fucking believe.
I only have
But
month dates. I will say I don't have specific dates.
okay. So I'm just gonna start off with something that I'm only excited for on the trailers and the premise and stuff, not because I have any connection to the series, which is Psychonauts 2, which I believe might also be on your list.
Now, Tucker, can I make an interjection here?
Okay.
Because that game comes out in August. Can we walk it back to July for a second?
Sure, that's fine.
Because there's a game that I'm surprised you're not going to talk about. Maybe you
Oh,
forgot when it
Skyward Sword
releases.
HD.
Skyward Sword HD.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna play the game.
Yeah.
I'm excited to play the Zelda game that I've never tried before. But my hype for it has been intensely diminished as the year has gone on. The port seems to be less effort than usual, and it is the only fucking thing that we're getting for the Zelda 20 or 35th anniversary. So I'm playing it because the game is interesting to me, but not because I'm like intrinsically excited for, especially, the news surrounding it and the port itself.
I'm pretty excited. Here's my thing. I don't know if you played Twilight Princess HD, but Twilight Princess
Nope.
HD was no more or less, robust of an upgrade than this seems to
Sure.
be,
Sure.
frankly. And so my perspective is that Skyward Sword is the Zelda game I've played the least by far. Um, so for me, I would
I
say
played
probably
it pretty little.
I'd say probably 75% of the game will be new to me. Um,
Okay. All right.
so
That's reasonable.
through that lens, I'm pretty excited to try it out. I do have qualms with the port itself, but I'm saving a
Yeah.
lot of that till I actually play and see what's the quality of life changes, how do the controls feel, things like that.
Sure. Yeah.
But I'm pretty excited. One other one in July I want to shout out before we move into August is The Ascent. This
Oh,
game
okay. I didn't realize
looks
that was already coming out.
Yeah, it comes out. I believe this one's the 26th. Because I'm pretty sure I'm traveling when it comes out, which is kind of fucked up. But it's coming to Game Pass, so when I get back home, I can't wait to try it. For people who aren't familiar, it's essentially like a top-down, almost Diablo-style RPG with twin-stick shooting mechanics set in like a cyberpunk universe. It looks awesome. It's on Game Pass. I'm super excited to try it. Back to you.
Hopping to August, is Psychonauts the only thing in August that you have excited
Nope, and
for?
it's not the only one you have either. Because 12 Minutes also releases in August.
Oh, okay. Well, I have that much farther down my list because I didn't know when that releases. But
That's okay.
we'll just start with Psychonauts 2.
Yeah.
And I kind of put my spiel out there. Honestly, I don't know a lot about it.
Yeah.
I'm mostly excited of it on a conceptual level, and people say how great the original Psychonauts is, and I'd like to play it before release, but we're getting damn close, so who knows if that'll actually happen. But yeah, looks good. I don't have a ton of save out because I'm not familiar with the series,
Yeah.
but I think we'll both at least be trying it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm in a similar boat. I haven't played the first one. I own the first one. So
So do
I
I.
probably will try it. I don't think it's particularly long. So I'm just always in the market for another awesome 3D platformer, and this looks so
Oh yeah,
inventive and
oh
fun
yeah.
that very excited.
But 12 minutes also releases, and this is one of those games where me as a fan of a smaller titles, but games with interesting conceits that just go all in on it. This seems right up my alley. And this
Yeah.
game has been in development for fucking ever, and it's crazy that it's finally coming out. And not only that, but with something we don't necessarily see very often from the games industry is a literal A-list cast of voice actors.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe, Daisy Ridley, James McAvoy, and just doesn't seem long, seems creative, top-down view, time loops, like everything about this is right up my alley. And it's one of those games that if it's 4 hours long, if they've confirmed how long it'll be, I assume it will be much longer than that. I'll play it in a day. It'll come
Yeah.
out and I'll just grind through it because I just want to see what it is essentially.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I love the concept. And that's about it. Again, on Game Pass. Excited to check
Yes.
it out. Now, September, 2 games for me in September.
Mhm.
The first one is WarioWare Get It Together.
True.
We've talked about this in some of our Nintendo E3 coverage. I have not played a ton of WarioWare games, but I have a lot of memories with WarioWare DIY, and I really came to love this series for its own merit, as opposed to creation aspect in WarioWare Gold. I
Sure.
love the idea of the co-op focus in this one. I am super excited to see how they use the Joy-Con. So that's a day one purchase for me.
Yeah, I would like to try the game. I have exactly zero connection to the WarioWare franchise. Uh, and in all honesty, as someone looking in from the outside, I I like physically cannot comprehend the appeal of such bite-sized games that are
Yeah.
very incredibly simplistic. However, I'm not knocking it at all because I have never tried it, and I know that a lot of people say, "Hey, look, it looks fucking dumb from the outside," but as soon as you get into the rhythm of completing micro games, it's addicting, it's creative, it's really charming. So this one, especially with co-op, it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to try.
The other one, Tucker, I don't know if it's on your list anymore or not, but Deathloop comes out on September 21st. And I am very excited for
Now,
Deathloop.
now, why the fuck would Deathloop leave my list? Deathloop is probably the one on here I'm most excited for, just from the fact that we've been seeing trailers for so long, and holy shit, does that look like my kind of game? I was watching some trailers for that again a couple days ago, and just everything about that game,
Yeah.
stylistically, story wise, combat, it's Arcane at their wackiest and their most creative, and I can't wait for it. It looks phenomenal, and I don't want to set my expectations too high, but it's probably my most anticipated game, to be honest.
Now that's very interesting. The only reason I wasn't sure is because we were talking to Discord again, join the Discord about how you were kind of shuffling things around with all the new Nintendo announcements and everything. But I'm
Mhm.
glad to hear it's on the list, and I'm going to set your expectations up high because audience members, I have seen the game. I saw a preview. As I got the opportunity to attend an event through CBR, and the game looks fucking awesome. I am very, very excited. I think that if Halo Infinite doesn't release, it's probably my most anticipated non-Nintendo game.
Yeah.
Actually, no, fuck that. I made a mistake. We'll get to what my most anticipated non-Nintendo game in a second, but certainly my most anticipated PlayStation game. That's what I'll say
Yeah.
for sure. For sure.
And one thing that I kind of want to establish here, and looking at my list, PlayStation pretty absent
Yeah.
from games coming out the rest of the year. We're not even sure if Forbidden West is coming out, and we know for a fact that God of War 2 is not coming out. And outside of that, they're what do you really know what else they're releasing?
No, they have
They've got
nothing.
Kenna, which is a game that I do want to try.
Yeah.
But they're not pushing anything, which is very, very interesting.
No, PlayStation does not have a single PlayStation 5 exclusive, truly exclusive title announced right now.
Mhm.
And
Deathloop doesn't count. Isn't that exclusive?
it's coming to PC also.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Um, But yeah, so there's nothing on the horizon. Even games like Horizon that are on the horizon are coming to PS4 also, and maybe not even coming this year. Herman
Yeah.
Hulse said that we are targeting holiday 2021, which means it's probably going to slip.
That and I just found that very interesting that they've front
Drop the
loaded their
ball.
year with two games, Returnal and Ratchet. Like
Yeah.
that's very interesting, especially considering it's the first year of a console, and coming off of those showcases last year, the PS5 reveal one and their follow up, those are some of the best showcases of all time with constant first party announcements. But we've already gotten Demon Souls, Ratchet, Returnal, and Miles and Sackboy, and now we're just waiting for the sequels to other games. But they've left themselves in a strange position, being so open and in a position for Xbox, I think, with their slate of Game Pass games to really take over the conversation outside of Nintendo, who is admittedly releasing more niche titles. So I think Xbox will really be the focus at the end of the year. And it's been a while since that's happened. I mean, maybe since the 360 era, I'm not really sure, but
Yeah,
They've left a void.
the leadership over there at PlayStation is high on crack. I don't know what they're doing. I mean, they can't, like 2020 was one of the best years of PlayStation that I can think
Yeah.
of,
Mhm.
especially when you put in PS4 exclusives from Final Fantasy VII Remake to Last of Us Part 2 to Ghost,
Yep.
even
Yep.
stuff like
Yep.
Persona 5 Royal. I mean, it was an
Dreams.
incredible year. Yeah, even Dreams was pretty cool before even PS5 launched, and now there's like that's fucking nothing, which is disappointing. Oh well,
Mhm.
we'll see. Hopefully they come back swinging. Either way, I'll play Deathloop on PS5.
Yep. Yep.
It's very good. Tucker, you want to move on to the big boy month?
Holy shit, October. Good God. And I'm so overwhelmed by October that I didn't even put Mario Party Superstars, which is a game I do want to try on my list
Sure.
because I made this list. It's pretty long. All things considered, like 12 games, something like that. But that's me being conservative because I was like, okay, I don't want to go overboard. But Mario Party Superstars does seem interesting, and I assume that's probably what you're gonna start with.
Well, I wasn't going to start with it because it's the game at the end of the month, but I'll talk about it anyway.
Sure.
We're already talking about it. I am a big Mario Party fan. I have not played really any of the N64 games though, so a lot of this content will be brand new to me. I've really
That's
played
exciting.
GameCube on, and so especially because my girlfriend is going to be abroad studying in Spain, it's gonna be a really fun game for us to play online together because they're really prioritizing online, not only with the modes being available, but also with you
Exciting.
being able to like pause mid-game and resume and all kinds of things. It seems like a really great online experience. So that's definitely one I'm gonna buy at least one copy of. I might buy her copy too. We'll see.
Mhm.
We'll see. But Tucker, I've got 3 more in this month.
Okay. Now the question is not the question, but actually I think I know what they are.
Yeah.
Metroid, Monkey Ball is Guardians October?
Yeah. Guardians is
Okay, so
October.
there we go. What a fucking month.
Yeah. So Guardians is at the bottom of my list, and frankly, unless you and Tanner buy it
Tanner will buy it.
I account share it, I'm probably not going to.
Yeah.
Because it looks fun, it looks cool. Like I said, it was probably one of my games of the show, and then I've kind of entirely forgotten about it because
Yeah.
there it is. There's a third person action Marvel game, and it could
Yeah.
be great. I really like a lot of concepts about it, but in the context of everything else releasing this year,
Yes.
I think Square Enix's terrible showcase in general kind of goosed it up for me a little bit.
That's totally reasonable.
But you're more excited for it than I am, right?
Probably not. It was
Hmm.
one of the interesting games of the show, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it one. It was certainly the highlight of the Square Enix showcase,
Right.
but that's not saying very much. But I do want to try it at least, and I have high hopes that it'll be at least pretty good,
Yeah.
at least better than fucking Avengers. And considering the focus on that single player campaign and uh, doing something a little more creative in terms of working with your team and not they seem to be creating their own story a little more so than Spider-Man was, with it sort of basing itself pretty
Yeah.
clearly on stuff. Um, I think it could be interesting, but also neither of us are buying it. We're just gonna mooch. So I don't know whatever that says about the game.
Because I'll be busy playing Monkey Ball.
Monkey Ball, Banana Mania.
Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania is so exciting to me. This is my most anticipated non-Nintendo game. It was in the
Oh,
direct, so that was kind of where I got caught up
okay.
for a second. Again, with the asterisk that Halo Infinite might not release.
Mhm.
Um, no, you open your mouth.
I did because I just want to say that I'm really excited for it as someone who has
Good.
played maybe 1.5 levels of a Monkey Ball game.
Yeah.
And the games look fantastic. And from what I've heard, this is the games that people actually care about in
Yeah.
the Monkey Ball franchise. And not only that, but it's at a solid price, and it's releasing at a bad time, the things around it, but it's going to be great regardless. And I'm glad that the Monkey Ball series, as something that is in that vein of simple gameplay concept that I'm into, I it's the perfect way. Like it's the ideal way for the Monkey Ball series to come to modern consoles.
Well, yeah, we talked about this before, but let's basically get our Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy so we can get our brand new, Crash 4, but for Monkey Ball, right?
Yep, yep.
And these games are awesome. Fucking love them. Super excited that they're coming back, and they've been kind of releasing some more details. It seems like there's going to be a lot of features for newer players, like an optional jump, whereas they're also catering to the core players who don't want the jump in Monkey Ball, where that's not going to affect leaderboards and such. So this is clearly a package that has a lot of care put into it from Sega,
Yeah, good.
which is very, very good. I think that this game is going to be no less than excellent.
My final question about that is someone who's not familiar with Monkey Ball franchise. Is Deluxe its own game?
Well, so what I've come to understand is that Deluxe
Okay, so
is
you don't even know. You haven't played it.
no, but well, no, this is what I'm going to say. I did play Deluxe because here's what I learned. When I was a kid, I only had a PS2 at first,
Okay.
and I played a lot of Monkey Ball there. But only Deluxe came to PS2, and essentially what Deluxe is already almost like a compilation of one and two. So so one and two were GameCube exclusives. Deluxe came to PS2 and Xbox and kind of compiled that content and I guess added new features and levels and such. So we're getting one, two, and then the extra deluxe content also all kind of stuck together.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they separate that. I mean, it's been very clear in the other collections with Spyro and Crash that you just select one of the games from the menu. But if Deluxe is a reappropriation of one and two's content, if they want to, who knows? But it'll be interesting to see, and it's good that they're even including it because they could have just done one and two. But
Yeah.
this seems like the ultimate way to experience those games.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Very, very excited. But it pales in comparison to the last game of the month,
Yep.
which comes out 3 days after Monkey Ball.
That's fucking wild.
And that is, of course, Metroid Dread, which I have said and expressed everything I could possibly express about this game already, right?
Yeah.
I'm pumped up. Can't wait. It's certainly my most anticipated game of the entire year.
Yeah.
Nothing more to say than that.
Deathloop and Metroid are neck and neck for me at the moment. I am not as experienced with the Metroid games as I played a lot of Dishonored on 360. So I know Arcane's gameplay style a lot better than I do the specifically Metroid series formula. But it's still tied for like my most excited. I can't fucking wait for that game. And I've got Samus Returns and other things to hold me over. So holy shit. We're in for a good time. And Monkey Ball, it will clearly get overshadowed, I think, by Metroid. Them releasing so close together, which I think is a shame. But we have 3 days to play the Monkey Ball games.
I don't care. I mean, ultimately, it doesn't matter. The games are so different, I think, and
Of course.
and also Monkey Ball is releasing multi-plat. It's releasing everywhere.
True.
So I mean that game's going to get its time to shine
No, you're
anyway.
right.
I don't think that there's too much of a worry there. Of course, Monkey Ball is most closely associated with Nintendo, considering that kind of GameCube exclusivity at first. But ultimately, fuck it. They're both going to be awesome. I can't wait to play both. You know.
Mhm.
But then we get into November, Tucker. Now I've got 2 games.
This is the month where now we're each reaching the era of where I don't actually know when things are releasing, and I'm gonna go do some research to make sure I didn't miss anything. So you can talk for a little bit.
Okay. Well, let me talk about Forza Horizon 5.
Okay, I was just typing that into Google. Hold on, let me delete that. Okay, and I'm gonna look up the other game.
All right. So Forza Horizon 5, I've never played a Forza game. I like to try them. That's one of those core Xbox pillars that I just have no familiar with.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be racing, I want some kind of Nintendo veneer over that, whether we're talking F-Zero or we're talking Mario Kart. But the Forza Motorsport games have really attracted me because I'm not big into sim racing. But the arcadey element of this does seem really compelling. So I think I would like to give it a shot. And again, with Game Pass, seems like the perfect way to do it. Newest game look fucking gorgeous. So
yes,
hopefully it plays as well as it looks, and people say that these Forza games are great. So
that's one of the surprise things for me this year. And as someone who has been reluctant about a digital stuff, but be like trying new franchise in general, because I'm relatively conservative with my new purchases, Game Pass is giving me access to this where I'm suddenly excited for a realistic racing game in some strange like Freudian way. That's not the word I was looking for, but I do really want to try this game. I think that it looks phenomenal, and the idea, I think, for me, of a racing game that is more as you say, arcade, would be open world exploratory and taking advantage of hardware in a way that very few series do. I think that it'll be a very different experience for me. And I also want to tag that alongside something we did miss, because you're not playing it, but I may be tangentially playing it as Battlefield 2042 releases, and Tanner is on the fence about buying it, but if he does, I want to try it because I never played a Battlefield game. I don't play multiplayer shooter games on the whole, but this game from a production value level looks unmatched. And if I get a chance to try it, it's one of those games like Forza Horizon 5 that I have no connection with, but I'd like to try, like, be introduced to a new gameplay format, a new franchise, and it looks fantastic. So I'm gonna hopefully have a chance to at least dabble in it.
You should play some of the older Battlefields. Play their campaigns. I mean, they're on Game Pass. They're basically all on Game Pass. The war
People
stories in
are
Battlefield 1 are pretty fun.
Battlefield campaigns are things people care about, or that are good.
I mean,
I've never heard about anything about this.
people definitely like the Bad Company campaigns, and
That's what I've heard of, though.
and the war stories in Battlefield 1 are very cool.
Okay.
They're not going to take you very long, and if you're just playing it to play, I feel like for your taste, you get a better experience out of the campaigns of those games, opposed to just jumping into
Maybe.
2049 just because it's new and it's multiplayer only. I'm trying to get on your wavelength, but also if he buys 2049, then I guess I'll try it too. Who knows?
Well, if he buys 2042, I'll play it. If he buys 2049, I don't know what the fuck alternate dimension he's from, but
That's a good point. I got Blade Runner on the brain, I guess.
yeah, as always.
But Tucker, the other game that's releasing in November that I'm excited to try is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond.
Yeah.
Unless you're getting Brilliant Diamond, then I'll get Shining Pearl. I've got no allegiance to either legendary because I had Platinum growing up, so I don't really care.
Pokemon Pearl was my first video game.
Okay.
So I'm getting Shining Pearl out of allegiance to my childhood.
Okay.
And we've gone on record about this, not because the game actually looks good, because it sincerely does not. It looks like the most low effort Pokemon remake, soulless fucking cash grab, terrible goddamn visual game that I've seen. I'm playing it to see how they changed my first video game of all time. But if I wasn't a Pokemon fan, but I mean, I've been using the A and B thing a lot, but also Pearl, my first video game, I wouldn't pick this up, especially not for $60.
Yeah, I'm very curious about your self-hate for this game and why you're buying it anyway. Because especially you're someone who has a much stronger constitution when it comes to not buying games you don't really care about.
Yeah.
I mean, you also tend to internally bully yourself into buying things anyway, like new Pokemon Snap. So at least you might do the same and sell this back. But ultimately, I don't know. I think I agree with you in a lot of respects. I think it looks low effort, but ultimately maybe it's going to turn out well. I haven't played Gen 4 in a long time. If I'm going to go back to Gen 4, I might as well do it this way. So I'm curious to see what a non-Game Freak title actually ends up looking like and feeling like.
Sure.
So
yeah.
I think there is reason to be curious and to want to experience it and kind of see what they're cooking up over there at Elka. So of course,
curious is a good word for
Sure.
the situation. Frustratedly curious is more my situation. Is I shouldn't be curious about it. I should be excited for it, and
Sure.
I'm not. Which is the first time, especially for remakes. I was a fan of the Gen 3 and Gen 2 remakes. I think those are both fantastic and take advantage of the updates of the generations and the hardware. And this is doing neither, and it doesn't have its own identity. So I'm not excited for it, and I think that's as Gen 4 being the most nostalgic I can be for probably anything in my life. That is not a good sign for Pokemon and Game Freak, especially for the fucking anniversary of the goddamn series.
Yeah,
Fuck.
I have not spent any time being upset or curious about this game in months. I just want to play.
We also
it.
haven't seen anything else about it.
Yeah, I think that is curious. I was expecting a Pokemon Presents by now, especially because Legends Arceus is the one I've got far more of a stake in.
Of course, yes, true.
So I would like to see that. Ultimately, you're remaking Diamond and Pearl. I don't think many of the Pokemon remakes are especially great.
Mm-hmm.
Heart Gold, Soul Silver being the key exception, and Let's Go, which I love. So we'll see. At very worst, it's a way to have new access to Sinnoh, which I haven't played in a long time. So by that merit alone, let's give it a shot. Let's see how it goes. Let's see if they actually integrate the distortion world, all kinds of stuff. I think there are ways it could be interesting, but also I don't feel any sort of disdain towards the game, I suppose.
Yeah.
1 month left in the year, Tucker. One game in it that I'm excited for.
Very true, and I think it's the same one.
Yeah, it's Advanced Wars.
1+2 Reboot Camp. Yeah. Not a great name. It's a little clumsy. It doesn't roll off the tongue, but I don't think it fucking matters because as someone who has recently gotten a Fire Emblem and learned that people really love these Advanced Wars games, I'm so excited to try this. I'm ridiculously excited to try it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think that there's something very appealing to me about this because it is basically just the tactical element of Fire Emblem. That's what the game is. It doesn't
Yes.
really have the relationship building, doesn't have this sort of extra stuff, which I enjoy, but ultimately the core reason I love Fire Emblem is the tactical gameplay. So having that
Yeah.
with a different, setting with sort of somewhat different mechanics, retaining the same intelligent systems core design, I think it's really cool. And I'm really excited that WayForward is working on this game. I think it opens
Yeah.
up a lot of interesting doors for further revivals, further partnerships. So I would say this is one of my top 4 most anticipated games of the year. So it goes
I'm.
Dread,
Oh yeah.
Infinite, Monkey
Monkey
Ball,
Ball.
Advance Wars, I think.
Advanced Wars. Okay, interesting, interesting. I'm excited for it for I essentially the fundamental opposite reason of you is I love Fire Emblem. I don't give a fuck about the gameplay. I do it for the
Yeah.
characters, which is why I preferred Three Houses over Awakening. But I'm interested in this because it will give me a chance to ignore the characters and actually try to see if the gameplay format works for me. And if I really get into it and start enjoying the strategy, it'll increase my enjoyment of future Fire Emblem games. So I want to try this because it gives me a chance to experience that gameplay format from a different point of view.
Yeah.
Because I don't really know a lot of other strategy RPGs like that, and I'm sure not interested in a lot of them. But the fact that this is intelligent systems, the core of it is intelligent systems. I'm interested from at least that degree. So it's a interesting way to end off the year. It's a niche way to end off the year. There's plenty of games we didn't mention, but considering how much we did mention, we're not lacking for content. And the great thing about the end of this year is there is something for everyone. Nintendo leaning more heavy into smaller franchises is interesting, but it doesn't mean that the games industry is lacking in any particular capacity, excluding PlayStation. So I think we're in for a very exciting end of 2021. This is probably the most games in a half of a year that I've ever been actively interested in purchasing or at least getting access to. So that's wild for me. I'm very hyped.
Yeah, I think it really came around. I think we're starting to see a lot of the fruits of sort of the COVID development period, stuff that got delayed,
Yeah.
bumped, pushed, all kinds of things of that nature. But also, I think we're also gonna have a very big 2022 because of that. I mean, we've seen so many fucking things get delayed already, and I'm anticipating quite a few delays still. So we'll see. But yeah, I think that's a great point. Everybody's got something to look forward to, and there's a good balance, I think, between brand new development concepts and a lot of remakes and revivals of older things. So
Mhm.
a lot to look forward to, a lot to buy, a lot to spend.
A
We'll see
lot
how
to
that
spend.
goes.
Holy shit.
But Tucker, I think we're done. I think we've taken us a little stroll through the next 6 months of what we're going to be playing. Again, tell us what you're going to play. Don't put it in the comment section. Put it in the Discord because if you put it in the comment
Do
section,
it.
I won't care. On that note, Tucker, I think we're gonna fucking wrap it up here and talk to everyone later. See you guys.